Good day each and everyone. I am Eliza Idris Belmin, a third year BSL Social Studies. Today I am going to discuss the Article 7 entitled the Executive Department. So now, what is Executive Department? So we all know that Executive Department is one of the branches of the government that makes sure that laws are followed and runs the day-to-day work of the country. In simple terms, it is like the action of the government wherein it includes the president, which is the leader, the vice president, the cabinet members, the secretaries, or the Department of Education, Department of Health, Department of Defense, and others. Okay, so what do you mean by potential in nutilis is, or in English, useless power is to no purpose. So meaning to say, having a power or strength means nothing if you don't use it for something or important. For example, if you have a talent but you hide it and you do not use it in a good way, it is useless. Okay, so first question, upon whom the executive power is vested? Okay, so to answer that questions, the president is the one in charge of running the government and making sure that laws are carried out, and all the main powers lead the country and manage how things work in the government belongs to the president. Okay, so in simple words, the presidents lead the country by enforcing laws and managing the government. So next question, what are the qualifications of the president and the vice president? So the first one, they are natural born citizens of the Philippines. Second one, they are registered voters. Third one, they are able to read and write. And fourth one, at least 40 years old on the day or on the election. And the fifth one, they have resided in the Philippines for at least 10 years immediately preceding the elections in Article 7, Section 2, and Section 3 Constitution. So next is that, what are the prohibitions against the president and his official family? So they are, first, they cannot hold any other office or employment during their tenure. So meaning to say, while the president and the vice president is doing their job, they cannot do another job because they are more focusing only on leadership. So next to that is that they cannot directly or indirectly participate in any businesses. So meaning to say, the president and the vice president are not allowed to join or help any businesses because again, they are more focusing on leadership skills. Okay, so in third one, they cannot directly or indirectly practice their profession. So meaning to say, the president and the vice president, they cannot do their old jobs or professions like being a doctor, being a lawyer, or other profession because they are more focusing on leading the country. So in fourth one, they cannot directly or indirectly be financially interested in any contract with or in any franchise or special privilege granted by the government or any subdivision, agency, or instrumentality thereof, including the government-owned or controlled corporation in Article 13, Section 1 Constitution. So meaning to say, this means that they cannot be involved in contract, franchises, or special privilege given by the government even though someone else or in secret. So why? So in order for them to don't take advantage of their position to get rich or gain favors and to keep the government clear and clear. So next question is that, what is the doctrine of qualified political agency? So it means that the president as a head of all executive departments, he has control of the executive departments and the latter are mere adjuncts of the president such as their acts and the departments and then unless reprobated or overruled by the president. Okay, so next to that is that, state the powers of the president which he can exercise as commander-in-chief. So as commander-in-chief, the president can call the armed forces to prevent or suppress lawlessness, violence, invasion, or rebellion, or declare martial law or suspend the privilege of the right of habeas corpus all over the country or any part thereof, Section 18, Article 7, Constitution. Okay, so next question, what is pardon? So a pardon is an act of grace which exempts the individual on whom it is bestowed from the punishment which the law inflicts for the crime he has committed. So a pardon means forgiving someone for crime and letting them go free from punishment. For example, if a person is found guilty, it's supposed to go to the jail, the president can give them a pardon means they don't have to serve the punishment or they might be released early. So what is reprieve? So a reprieve is a postponement of a sentence or a stay of execution. So, meaning to say, a reprieve is delaying or stopping a punishment for a while, usually when someone is about to be punished. So, for example, if a person is supposed to be punished soon, a reprieve gives them more times before the punishment happens, or they are delaying or stopping the punishment of a certain individual. Next, what is parole? So a parole is a release from imprisonment but without full restoration of liberty, as parole is still in the custody of the law, although not in confinement. So a parole means letting a person out of jail early but with the certain rules they have followed. For example, a person is released before their full sentence is mere but they must have will and follows. So if they break the rules and regulation, they get back to the jail. So next, what is amnesty? So amnesty is an act of grace conferred in by the legislative, usually extended to the groups of persons who committed political offenses, which puts into oblivion the offense itself. So, meaning to say, amnesty means the government forgives a group of people who broke the law, usually because of things like joining a rebellion or protest. So, next question, what is veto? So, it came from a Latin word I forbid, which refers to the refusal of the executive whose assent is necessary to perfect a law passed by the legislator, and is the message of the executive to the legislature stating refusal and the reason thereof. So, meaning to say, this veto is the power of the president to accept or reject the law that being passed by the legislative. So, that could be all. Thank you.